What's up, everybody? Hey, Tom Laird here, host of the Advice from a Call Center Geek podcast and founder of Expivia. For exceptional contact center outsourcing, trust Expivia. We're fully AI-driven, as all of you know, and can handle voice, email, chat, and all of your digital channels. Our 600-seat USA contact center is expert in healthcare, financial services, insurance, tech support, retail, and more. Experts on the NICE CX1 platform, we ensure seamless customer experiences. DM me or visit expiviausa.com for more. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Advice from a Call Center Geek, the call center and contact center podcast where we try to give you some actionable items to take back into your contact center, improve the overall quality, improve your agent experience, hopefully improve the customer experience as well. That's kind of why we're all here, right? My name is Tom Laird. I'm the CEO of Expivia Interaction Marketing, which is a 600-seat call center outsourcer located here in the US of A in Pennsylvania. I still can't believe that it's July. The year's halfway done, entering the third quarter. Fall for us is kind of another grind time where clients kind of, vacations are done and they kind of get back into the groove. So kind of getting excited for that. But anyway, a couple quick announcements that I think are going to hopefully get you guys fired up for what's coming up. We are going to have a couple guests on in the next couple episodes. So next week, we are going to have a company called Actify. And Actify is a conversational AI organization, which I think is doing some super, super cool things in the space. So we're going to have a conversation on AI as a whole and then get specific into, conversational AI. And these guys kind of focus more on the lead gen and on the sales aspect of your contact center. So I think that that's helpful as well. We focus so much on customer service that, it's time to have a sales conversation as well. Because I know a lot of you out there, you're dealing with conversion and those type of metrics as much as you are from a service level standpoint. So I think that, we can kind of, I want to say, kill two birds with one stone. But, have a really cool AI conversation and also a sales aspect conversation as well. And then the first or second week, I believe it's August 9th, we're going to have the CEO of Balto, which is a speech analytics organization, which I'm really excited about. And again, remember, guys, we're going to talk about, not so much their products, but we're going to talk about, speech analytics, where the state of analytics is, what are some of the things that you can accomplish with it. Really just try to get you guys to, and myself, right, to really be able to zoom in on where this technology is going. Really excited to have, a conversational AI experts, again, speech analytic experts, to be able to come on the podcast and go beyond what I can talk to you guys about. But, they're living, eating, breathing the actual programming and the technology of this stuff every day. So pretty excited. So make sure you're sticking around and check out those episodes. For today, I've had a lot of people who have been requesting kind of I guess I'm calling it right now, a day in the life of a supervisor. And how do I see the full day of a contact center supervisor go? How do they do it in our call center? So I wanted to kind of give you the rundown of how we do it, some of the things that we're talking about every single day. And I think we've talked about some of this stuff in other episodes, but never really put it all together. So let's kind of do that. And let's kind of talk about, and I have a list of about 10 things, right, that we want, each of our supervisors to do. And some of them are kind of macro issues and some of them are micro during the day issues, but let's talk about it. All right. So as you guys know, we did a full episode on starting the day the right way in your call center. If you have not checked that out, you got to make sure you check that out. It's one of my favorite episodes, and I think it adds just a ton of value if you're struggling to, kind of start your day in your contact center or don't have a plan for it. So, when when our supervisors come in, they're going to check the stats for the day, right? So not everybody works the whole entire day. So they're going to make sure, where did we end up? How were service levels? What were conversion levels? What are the KPIs that are important to them and understand where they were? They're going to look at their reps, right? And make sure that, they understand where their reps were, who were the great performers yesterday, who struggled a little bit. And then we're going to do making sure that we greet all of our reps. Now, this was much easier, again, when we are all here in the office. And about 50% of our reps now are back. So again, when they're coming to their team If you're back in the office, supervisors shouldn't be typing an email. They should be standing up, greeting them, talking to them, whether it's a high five, a handshake, a pound, whatever it is. Just make sure that they're being recognized. Just take the temperature, right? Feel who's kind of in a mood, who's a little bit tired, who's sleepy, who's ready to go. And that's kind of what we say, kind of take the temperature. If you have people at work from home, then we're going to go right into our team meeting. Now, we use Slack, and actually Slack just came out with a brand new feature that we can now have up to 50 instances of a video session going, which is cool because it used to be 15. But this team meeting has to be done with video, right? So we have to physically see the rep, and it's not to check up on them, but again, it's doing the same thing, taking the temperature, making sure who's kind of, going to need to be pushed or prodded a little bit, right? And we're going to just kind of get a feel for the overall, again, for the temperature. In this team meeting, we're going to stay positive, right? If we didn't hit service level yesterday, if we didn't hit conversion metrics yesterday, we're not going to talk about the negative things that we didn't do, right? Because that's just going to carry over in today's, right? We're going to focus more on what we did do right, what we came close to doing, where we're improving, right? When we talk about kind of yesterday, we're also going to highlight our high performers, right? Who did a great job with handle time, who did a great job with their QA, those types of things, calling those guys out, giving them kind of a little bit of a pat on the back. And then we're going to set team goals. All right. So, hey guys, we got to make sure that our handle time is here. Our QA should be here. Let's really aim for that 82% service level. That'll give us a little bit of leeway because we know it's heavier at night and we're going to help them out a little bit. Those types of things that you want to set kind of as a team. And then once your meeting is over, right, we want to have a one-on-one kind of meeting with every single rep, and it's 5 minutes, right? So if you're here in the office, you can just kind of walk around to each individual, talk to them about their daily goals. I like to, when we're here, put a Post-it note, up with, what we want them to focus on. So they're kind of looking at it, but it's the same thing when they're out of the office, making sure that you do a one-on-one video call with them where you're just talking quickly on the goals. Here, I don't want to say you can be negative, but you can get a little bit, like, hey, yesterday we struggled with this, right? Let's make sure that, we really focus on hearing closing signals so that we can get off calls and really, work on that handle time or whatever, kind of the metrics that you guys are using. So we want to do that with every single rep. Give them their individual goals, make sure that they're kind of set for the day. And if you think about that, right, they've been on video chat, you greeted them, you talked about yesterday, you gave an overall team goal, you've given individual goals. I mean, they should be ready to go for the day and have a plan, right? That's totally laid out for them. We then want our supervisors every 15 minutes, if they're here in the building, right, to either just walk around, right? Hey, how you doing? Give a little bit, just make sure that everybody can see you. If you're work from home, then every 15 minutes, we want you to say something in your team Slack channel. Hey, great job, guys. Good start. That's it, right? Not asking for a novel, not a paragraph, not really even a sentence. Just, good job. Service level looks good. Hey, your handle time looks great to start. Little things like that, right? That they constantly know that we're monitoring, we're listening, we're seeing the stuff. And I think that's a really, really important. It's over communication, especially when they're at home. We then want to make sure that we're trying, and I know depending on your call center, this could be an impossible task, but we're trying to at least get one scored call per rep per day. That's not always going to happen. In fact, most days it's not going to happen, especially if you have a handle time of 6 or 7 or 10 minutes, right? You may not get to every single rep from a scoreable standpoint. You want to make sure that you're at least listening to each and every single rep at least once. But we're trying, right, to have our supervisors also score calls outside of QA scoring calls, and they're doing that and they have their own area. But we want the supervisor to kind of, do that too and kind of be a part of that process. We also utilize our supervisors, and this is another reason they might not get through, a ton of monitoring, scoring, because we want our supervisors to be the one who coaches, right? So I know in a lot of organizations, QA will actually do the coaching. We want the supervisor to actually pull the associate if there was an issue on a call that QA listened to, and have them actually do the coaching for it, so that the supervisor really is the person. And again, we call ours supervisors, by the way. I know that some have team leads, some have different names, but I guess we're kind of old school with it. But we want the supervisor to really have ownership of their team, right? So, and sometimes QA can be a little bit off, right? Because the supervisor is living, eating, breathing it. QA should be too, but they can also be that buffer to make sure, hey, listen, we're working with Janie here. I'm not going to pull her on this because I already talked to her about it. She's doing a better job today with it. I don't want to kind of deplete her of her energy right now, right? So they can, kind of have that kind of leeway of doing it. A couple other things. If you do have an issue, right? So if there's an issue with work from home, right, that's going to be done on an individual level. Never take that into the overall team Slack channel. If it's here in the building, right, we want to make sure that we're pulling the associate off the floor. The floor is like the church or the, kind of the stage, right? Nothing bad can happen there. Only good things get announced. Anyone who does anything great, that goes in the main Slack channel. That gets announced to the team. Anybody who doesn't do anything, or if there's an issue on the team, that's got to be pulled immediately so it doesn't kind of, spread to other members, right? So anything bad off the team, anything good announced to the team. We also have a checklist. I'm going to see what I can do here. I've posted this thing before, but it's grown. So we just use a Google Doc right now with it, but I'll try to post, what our checklist looks like. And literally the reps or the supervisors just going through their day. This is all the tasks that they need to do from, making sure that their rep was logged into Slack. Did they do a one-on-one? We have even stats on here that are pertinent to each client. Like we might have their unavailable percentage, right? And we're tracking that all throughout the day to make sure that, everything's good. Did we monitor? Did we coach? Monitoring quick notes, making sure that the reps logged out, that their payroll's good, all that kind of stuff, right? So there's kind of an overall checklist. And we really had to do this from work from home, right? Because it's one thing when everybody's here, but people can get lost in the shuffle when you're not constantly seeing them, right? Especially the quiet ones that maybe don't interact on Slack. We have to make sure that, we're still not forgetting about those guys and we're interacting with those guys. The other thing that we have every supervisor do is an end of shift synopsis, right? So they need to write it out, basically what happened on their day. Was there any type of issues with the reps? Was there any kind of standouts that did awesome? What was your final stats? What was your service level? What was your overall team handle time? Is there anything HR should know about, right? Just an overall snapshot. So especially me at home, which, I can't just be constantly looking at every single team during the day, but I can read the end of shift synopsis for the supervisors. And again, we're just looking for a half page of kind of quick notes to make sure that we hit everything's going well. And if there are issues that we're going to handle it, kind of as I'm reading this, or if they were handled, I kind of know about it, or, kind of some of the higher ups or HR knows about it, which they should know about it, as it's happening. But, I think that's kind of a really, really important thing. And I lose my mind when a supervisor, kind of just bails out like on a Friday, right? And doesn't do their synopsis, right? Because that's really how I live, eat, and breathe, really what's happening in the call center from kind of that, I guess, kind of grassroots. And the last thing here too is we require each supervisor to do a weekly agent analysis. So this is on our checklist as well. And basically it's a 10 to 15 minute meeting. And again, we've done a full podcast and blog post on this, right? But basically we're just going to talk about overall goals. We're going to talk about career progression. We're going to talk about, do they want to be a supervisor someday? Do they want to go to HR? Do they want to be a programmer? What is their end goal here? And we try to help them get there with a plan to progress to more money. If they want to, look at their attendance. And really it's just like an intensive, 10 minutes just with the rep talking about, how they're doing, right? And kind of get them on the right path. Again, stay really positive with this. It's got to be something that they kind of enjoy. And a lot of times they do enjoy it because they get to get off the phone, right? So it's 10 to 15 minutes off the phone, talking to the supervisor. And the supervisor got to be super organized here, right? Because there's a lot of stuff going on. They got to monitor calls. They got to coach calls. They got to talk to every single rep. They got to do weekly agent analysis. They're thinking of their synopsis as they're going. So, we have their day full, really of things. So I think, again, that's where the checklist really comes into play. But you just don't want any idle time. Any idle time, right, should be monitoring and should be listening and trying to get the reps up to where they should be. So again, I hope that that's helpful. That's kind of, again, the day of the life of an Expivia supervisor. We will make sure that I post this when I post this on LinkedIn, and also try to get it into the show notes as well. See if I can do that. But hey, also, before I go, make sure that you check out our LinkedIn call center tips and tactic group. Right, there's about 130 people-ish that have joined that already, which has been really cool. Also, we have our Facebook Advice from a Call Center Geek community, which has been growing as well. So again, thank you guys very much, and we'll talk to you next week.